I never imagined I'd share this, but life has a way of pulling you into the unexpected. My name is Sophie, and at 45, I've been a single mom for years, raising my son alone in our cozy Seattle home. His name is Ethan, and he's 23 now. We've always been close, just the two of us navigating life's highs and lows together, a team against the world. One chilly night, something unthinkable happened. Ethan looked exhausted, his face pale under the dim kitchen light. He said he wasn't feeling well. He'd been working hard, studying late, and the weight of it showed in his tired eyes. I told him to rest in bed if he needed it. The Seattle cold seeped into our old house, the kind that makes your bones ache. It took a while to warm up, so I draped a thick blanket over him. At first it felt normal, a mother caring for her son, nothing more. But as I lay beside him trying to comfort him in the quiet of his room, I felt him shift closer. Maybe he was just seeking warmth, his body instinctively curling toward mine in the frosty air. I didn't think much of it. Then he wrapped his arm around me, gently pulling me near like he used to when he was a boy seeking safety. I was startled but let it pass. Maybe he just needed comfort, I told myself, brushing off the unease. I could feel his warmth beside me, his steady breath against my shoulder as we lay there. His breathing slowed like he was drifting to sleep, and the room grew so quiet I could hear my own heartbeat echoing in the stillness. It felt strange, yet oddly peaceful. I stayed still, not wanting to disturb him, my mind whispering that this was just a mother soothing her son. But then he moved again, inching closer under the blanket. His arm tightened around me, firm yet tender, and for a moment I froze, my thoughts scrambling. Part of me wanted to speak, to pull away, to break the sudden intimacy that felt too heavy, but another part urged silence. A tension hung in the air, thick and unspoken, like a storm waiting to break. Then something shocked me. I felt something firm under the blanket, unmistakable and jarring. My heart raced, a jolt of panic surging through me. I tried to stay calm, reminding myself he was my son. Maybe he didn't even realize it, lost in his exhaustion. I lay there, fighting the emotions stirring inside, telling myself this was just an awkward moment that would pass. But as time stretched on, the air grew heavier, and I knew things had shifted in a way I couldn't ignore. Ethan stayed close, his breathing steady, but the warmth between us intensified. I wanted to crack a joke to shatter the tension, but my voice failed me. I felt trapped in that moment, unsure of what I was doing or feeling. Then Ethan shifted, lifting his head to look at me. His blue eyes, soft in the moonlight filtering through the window, held a tenderness I'd never seen before. He gazed at me with a mix of safety and unease, silent but searching, as if asking if this was okay. I tried to smile, hoping it would ease the strangeness, but it only deepened the silence, wrapping us in its weight. Ethan's hand rested on my arm, warm, gentle, and steady. His fingers moved slightly, almost unconsciously, each touch sparking like a quiet flame. Something inside me stirred, a feeling I couldn't ignore, no matter how hard I tried. I kept my breathing even, hiding the way my heart pounded. I didn't know what to do or say, so I lay there, caught in the strange connection blooming between us. I told myself this was just a mother comforting her son, nothing more. But in the quiet under that blanket with just us, my mind swirled with thoughts I knew were wrong. I couldn't push them away. He was so close, I felt something deeper, a closeness I didn't understand. I was confused, yet warm, stunned by the unexpected pull. Ethan seemed oblivious to my struggle, his presence calm, natural. His hand moved gently as if it was the most ordinary thing in the world. His breath was steady, his eyes closing again, and I wondered if he was asleep. But then his hand shifted slow and deliberate, sending a chill down my arm. He opened his eyes, locking onto mine, a question lingering there like he was asking if I felt the same strange pull. I whispered his name, barely audible, my voice trembling. I wanted to stop this, to pull back, to rebuild the distance, but I couldn't move. The tension was overwhelming, a silent storm gathering. We didn't speak, but the air was thick with unspoken words, feelings we couldn't voice. Then, as if it was inevitable, he leaned closer. My heart thundered, but I was powerless to stop it. I felt torn between my role as his mother and the strange emotions rising. As he leaned nearer, my breath caught thoughts dissolving, leaving only the moment between us. Ethan's hand rested on my shoulder, his fingers hesitant, as if he too sensed the line we were nearing. The world faded, and all I could feel was his warmth, the steady rhythm of his heart almost audible in the stillness. I closed my eyes, trying to steady myself, urging myself to pull away from this confusing closeness. But then his hand brushed a strand of hair from my face, a simple, caring gesture that sent my heart aching in ways I couldn't fathom. I opened my eyes to find him watching me, his gaze tender and trusting, his face so close I could see every detail, the faint freckles, the soft curve of his lips. His eyes mirrored my vulnerability, both of us caught in this moment, suspended in time. My mind raced with questions, doubts, things I couldn't grasp, but my body wouldn't move. I felt drawn to him, the boy I'd raised, yet he felt like someone new. Just when I thought we'd stay locked in silence, Ethan pulled back, breaking the trance with a shy, shaky laugh, rubbing his neck. It snapped me back to reality, making me realize how close we'd been, how much we'd shared. The weight of it hit me. I took a deep breath, trying to tame the emotions flooding my soul. "Sorry, Mom," he said, his voice soft, hesitant, tinged with uncertainty. "I didn't mean to make things weird." He looked away, his cheeks flushing, a sign he was grappling with the same chaos I was. I wanted to comfort him, to say it was okay, that this awkwardness didn't change us, but the words wouldn't come. I felt frozen, unsure how to bridge the silence. In that fleeting moment, I realized with startling clarity that I'd never felt so lost with my own son. Instinctively, I reached out, placing a hand on his shoulder, hoping the gesture would reassure him. A faint smile curved my lips, though I felt my own anxiety beneath it. "It's okay, Ethan," I whispered, my voice gentle, steady, trying to soothe him. "We've been close for so long, just the two of us. It's bound to feel strange sometimes." He nodded, a flicker of relief in his eyes, as if my words touched him. Just then, the doorbell rang sharp and jarring, shattering the fragile calm we'd built. It pulled us back to the world beyond the Seattle rain, tapping outside like a quiet warning. I stood quickly, my heart still racing, oddly grateful for the interruption. As I moved to the door, my pulse quickened, the strange energy from our moment lingering. Opening it, I saw our neighbor Jack, his familiar face a sudden comfort. His smile lingered on me a bit longer than usual, as if sensing something beneath my surface. I composed myself, hoping he wouldn't notice the tension. "Hey, Sophie," Jack said, his voice warm, friendly as always. "Thought I'd check if you need anything. It's getting cold, and I can help with the heater if it's acting up." His kindness was a welcome relief, easing the unease inside me. "Thanks, Jack," I said, my smile genuine. "The house does get chilly at night. I'd appreciate the help." Jack stepped inside, his presence steady, grounding. I felt Ethan's eyes on us from the corner. His expression was hard to read, but something in his gaze stirred my stomach. I could have sworn I saw a flash of jealousy, though he quickly masked it with his usual indifference. That look unsettled me, hinting that Ethan might be feeling something deeper than I'd realized. As Jack checked the fireplace chatting about the house, his voice was soothing, a contrast to the storm inside me. But my attention stayed on Ethan, standing silently in the hall, watching with a quiet intensity that charged the air. The room's tension shifted subtly, and I was torn between making Jack feel welcome and easing the unease I sensed in Ethan. It felt like they were quietly vying for my attention, and I didn't know how to navigate the fragile space between. I glanced at Ethan again, catching a flicker in his eyes that made me wonder if he was wrestling with unshared feelings. But before I could process it, Jack turned to me, his smile bright. "Looks good here, Sophie," he said, his voice warm. "Call if you need more help." I thanked him, and as he left, the tension between Ethan and me thickened, the air heavy with complexity. I closed the door softly, turning to find Ethan in the hall, arms crossed, his face serious, eyes steady. "Ethan, you okay?" I asked, my voice gentle but probing, trying to understand the sudden distance. The silence grew heavier with each passing second. He shrugged, his voice barely audible. "Yeah, I'm fine. Just didn't expect Jack to show up." His words hid more than they revealed. I wanted to press further to understand the shift, but Ethan turned, walking to his room without another glance. The soft click of his door felt final, leaving a deafening silence. I stood there, stunned, overwhelmed by relief, confusion, and unease that something vital had been left unsaid. Staring at his closed door, my heart sank with an indescribable loss. Something had changed between us, a silent shift hanging like a storm cloud. Replaying our closeness, his lingering gaze, Jack's presence, and the simmering tension, I went to my room, sitting on the bed's edge, thoughts racing. I knew I couldn't ignore this forever. We'd have to face what had changed. Lost in thought, a soft knock startled me. My heart skipped, hope flaring that Ethan wanted to talk. "Come in," I called, my voice calmer than I felt. The door creaked open, and Ethan stood there, his expression unreadable but familiar. He stepped in, sitting beside me, hands clasped, eyes down. The silence was heavy, necessary. Finally, Ethan spoke, his voice barely above a whisper. "Mom, I don't know what's happening. I'm sorry if I made things weird earlier. His words trailed off, frustration clear, as he struggled to express his feelings. I placed my hand on his, a gentle squeeze saying more than words could. "It's okay, Ethan," I said softly, despite the uncertainty within me. "We're both a little lost right now. It's just been us for so long, things can get complicated. It's okay to feel confused." He nodded slowly, eyes distant, a depth of emotion in them that tugged at my heart. After what felt like forever, Ethan looked up, his eyes a swirl of uncertainty, frustration, longing, and something raw I couldn't name. "I don't know what to do with these feelings," he whispered, his voice so soft I barely heard it, as if scared to admit the truth. His vulnerability hit me hard, and I saw how much this affected him. The urge to hug him overwhelmed me, to tell him it would be okay. But I hesitated, unsure if it would help or complicate things. Instead, I stayed still, letting the heavy silence speak. After a long pause, I took a deep breath, facing him. "Maybe we need to step back and think things through," I said gently, searching for the right balance of reassurance and understanding. "It's normal to feel close, but it's also okay to need space to sort your thoughts. We don't have to figure it all out now." He nodded, my words sinking in. Then, unexpectedly, he leaned forward, resting his head on my shoulder, a gesture that echoed his childhood need for comfort. It was warm, familiar, yet tinged with a new tension. I wrapped my arm around him, pulling him close in a protective, comforting embrace. The hug felt safe, though I knew unanswered questions lingered. So much was unsaid emotions we hadn't fully processed. But in that moment, I realized we didn't need all the answers yet. We could take it one step at a time. We stayed like that, soaking in the silence, the closeness offering fleeting peace. The confusion and complexity seemed to fade, if only for a moment. But beneath the warmth, unease lingered, a truth we couldn't fully shake. After a while, Ethan pulled back, looking into my eyes with a serious expression. "Mom, I don't know what to do with all these feelings," he said softly, his voice uncertain. "I don't want to make things harder between us, but I can't ignore them." His words hung heavy, a question he didn't dare voice. My mind raced, searching for the right response. But before I could speak, another knock came, firm and deliberate. We both flinched, surprise and confusion surging. I stood heart-pounding and opened the door to find Jack again, his face clouded with concern. "Sorry to bother you," he said, his voice tinged with worry. "Just wanted to check if everything's okay. You seemed off earlier, and I wanted to be sure." I hesitated, glancing at Ethan, who watched us closely, his expression unreadable but charged. I took a deep breath, keeping my voice steady despite a slight tremor. "Thanks, Jack. We're fine, just having a quiet night." Jack studied me, then Ethan, his gaze thoughtful, probing. He nodded slowly, not entirely convinced. "All right, I'm next door if you need anything." As he left, I closed the door, leaning against it, gathering my thoughts. Turning to Ethan, I saw his intense gaze, sending a chill through me. He stood moving closer, the air thick with unspoken words. His expression shifted as if wrestling within. "Maybe we shouldn't push this, Mom," he said softly, his voice trembling. "Maybe we need time to think." His words hit like a wave, and I nodded, my heart aching with conflicting emotions. "You're right, Ethan," I replied gently, my voice hoarse with unsaid things. "We need to think things through. We can't rush this." Ethan nodded, and we stood in silence, our closeness a strange mix of intimacy and distance. It felt like an end, but also a beginning of something undefined. As he walked to his room, I stood rooted, wondering what lay ahead and if we could find a way forward. Thank you for staying until the end. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that button. Your support, even a small gesture, means the world and keeps us sharing heartfelt stories. Like if you connected with this, as every interaction helps us grow and continue these meaningful tales. Thank you for being part of this.